go ahead and get the show on the road. When were we, in the comments for the new business, when we were covering?
Up to you.
Well, we'll take care of that early,
Okay.
so we don't have to wait, so.
Okay. Sounds great.
we can get that going. So we'll call this meeting to order. Our first item is general public comments. Do we have anybody here that would like to make any general public comments? Hearing none and seeing none, I think we're going to take this opportunity to recognize someone for their service in this organization. And because Craig has put up with you so long, John, he is going to do that because he got to deal. He had the honor of working with you for so many years. Craig wanted to talk about this a little bit.
Prior to John's appointment to this board, we had met certainly at different things, but I had never gotten the opportunity to get to know him and Francis. Because of the work here on this board, I got to know John much better. John has made us better. He has always been a quality, honest person. Interestingly enough, like all of us, John always came into an issue with an initial opinion, but he was always willing to discuss that. And sometimes maybe other board members went his way, and sometimes John went the way of the other board members. But it was always a flexible, open discussion about what would benefit the people of Mesa County better, and what was the right thing to do given the circumstances that we were in. Specifically, I will always remember John's penchant for the little guy, where what makes us feel really good on this board is to build something big, to make that big contribution and make a difference with that particular entity, whatever it was. And John, not sometimes, not every now and then, always, every grant cycle, advocated for the small grants, the little guys, the ones that can make a real difference. And I remember a Saturday here a couple weeks ago when Janine and I were going up to our place up above Somerset. And so we're between Whitewater and that subdivision out there. And there was a lot of smoke in the valley and that stuff. And here comes this tanker that was, what was it, Whitewater?
Whitewater Fire.
Yeah.
Lands in Whitewater Fire Protection District.
Yeah. And here comes this truck responding, to this fire. And bigger tanker on the back of it and everything. And I was advocating for a bigger grant or not doing anything at all. And John was advocating for the need for that tanker, that it was the only one in Mesa County and it was used by all the various fire departments. And I told Janine, I said, John Justman was right. And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, that truck there, if it hadn't been for John Justman, it would not be responding to that fire. So again, always advocating for the little guy, always trying to spread the wealth around to as far to every corner of this county to try and make things better. So John, thank you for your service to this board. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, that's a nice one. Thank you.
Hang on, guys.
Just wait, gotta get a picture.
Back up there.
You wanna get it?
We're not gonna let you get away with that easy.
Oh, yeah. That was the rapper in the picture too there?
Yeah.
I got somebody's chair. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll get that
Thanks,
to you,
Sean.
Dusty.
Thanks, Quinn.
Thank you,
It's
John.
always interesting to me, because I served on the Lower Valley Fire Board, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, and, you know, sometimes you heard the comments, Lower Valley Fire, I think is much better now, but at that time, there was a lot of internal friction, and the fire chief didn't always run the show down there. But they always struggled for, and I don't care if it's them, or if it's Whitewater, or, I know, Gateway, and the Colburns, and the DeBecks. Well, DeBeck got, the energy people gave them a lot of money to help them out, but they were always struggling trying to keep equipment that would do the job, and sometimes you had to remind them, you're spending taxpayers' money here, it's just not money off a tree. And, but the thing that always got me was that one sentence in the federal minimum leasing thing, it says, the money should go where to impacted communities. And there's a lot of things we gave money to, I mean, yes, they qualified, but I always would tell people when they were upset that you go to Colburn or Quebec or even at Fruta, you can literally see sometimes the actual impact of roads that they were asking money for, or the equipment to take care of stuff. And I know Lower Valley Fire, on the big fire this summer, they spent lots of hours on that fire north of Fruta and helping the Forest Service, or the BLM and whatever, but it was all coordinated, and it took a lot of their staff time and effort, so, I mean, that was my thought, and there was a lot of the bigger applications that definitely got funded too, it just always wasn't the little guys, but that was when I read that one sentence, it always just kind of hit me between remember the organizations that don't have unlimited amount of money to spend, and like I learned at Lower Valley Fire, every call that's turned in, they have to respond. I would call them that I was gonna be burning down at this one place I rented every year. I'm gonna be burning tomorrow afternoon. Well, somebody called in, and I said, I called you, why are you wasting he said, we don't have a choice, we have to, when somebody calls in and said there's a big fire down here, we gotta go check it out. And they sometimes it amazed me how many miles they put on their equipment. You'd think, they don't use it that much, but if you could take off all the unnecessary calls that they respond to, I bet it would drop by 20 or 30% on the mileage. Anyway, it was fun for the most part. Some days maybe not so much fun, but overall it was, and there's places when you go out to the airport and you see the plaque or that you help the airport out there, and that's, you know, a big part of it, and I think a lot of the small people in the communities I think they were really appreciative of the help that they got and the use they put it to, so. And thank you other board members. Quint wasn't here all the time, Craig was, but David Ludlam, thanks for putting up with me.
Well, it was easy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, John.
We'll give you this for your plaque. So you don't drop it, scratch it, and Francis will yell at you.
I have the box if you wanted to.
We'll do that.
All right, well, thank you, guys. Move on next to the, pardon me, change the screens too much here. Next, we have approval of February meeting minutes, included in your packet.
I move for the approval of the February meeting minutes as presented.
We have a motion,
I'm sorry.
and we have a second.
Second.
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, our staff report, Dusty.
Yes, sir. In February, we did our traditional social media postings about our meeting minutes and the agenda being posted. We uploaded our February meeting to YouTube, and we Facebook Lived our meeting, Facebook live streamed. We put our March meeting details up there along with the audit request for proposal details when they were due. That was all posted to social media. We didn't have any media at this time, and we don't have any grants payable at this time either. Our invoices from February are for Dusty Reimer, invoice 156 for service and supplies for $2,705.97. and Dufford Waldeck invoice 24464 for services for $199.50. Our upcoming events are the April board meeting, which is April 21st, our May board meeting, which will be May 19th, and we should be starting our audit soon. If we get to that point, it will be due by July 31st, so April through June-ish will be audit time for us. And that's all I have.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the invoices and the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the insurance. You want to discuss the insurance, Dusty?
Yes, so last month we talked about the Philadelphia insurance policy that we renewed. We did pay, it was $2,600. We were waiting on the Colorado Special District's proposal, and we got it. You'll see up on the screen that it's considerably higher than what we were anticipating from Philadelphia Insurance. The estimated amount was $4,100. If you guys are interested, we can still go that way, but that also does mean that we need to renew our Special District Association dues, which we have not done because we are waiting on this proposal. And the dues are based on the amount of money that you make per year, so it's gonna be anywhere between $400 to $1,000 for the dues as well.
For the privilege of paying more for the insurance.
Yes. My recommendation would be to not go with this and to also, in lieu of the restraints that we have budgetary wise, to not continue on with the Special District Association for this year.
What is our insurance without the special district candidates? Is it?
So the Philadelphia insurance that we have currently that wasn't in from the special districts, it's just they ran a competitive process. It was $2,600.
Okay. I think that's a pretty answer. Does anybody have any comments on that?
Only that I'm recusing myself from any discussion about this.
Yes.
Okay. So we can either, so on it.
Well, don't turn your back on me.
You're out, I'm sorry, you're done, you.
Gee.
Sit you in the corner. So do we have, so the motion would be to discontinue our membership in the Special District Association and go with the Philadelphia insurance.
Right. We already did. We did pay it because you guys approved it last time.
Approve that.
But yeah, so you guys have already approved that, but just to
Okay.
not
Confirm that.
go with Special District Insurance or the Special District Association.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion, I'll second that.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
Okay.
opposed? Okay,
And Craig is recused.
okay. I think that's a pretty easy decision. That seems like terribly high insurance for a little bit of money we move around, a little bit of risk we have. All right, our RFP for the audits. We did set out, Janet, to give you some background here, we, as our income from DOLA has gone down, we requested that some of our service providers look at ways to cut their costs because we were bumping up against the 10% maximum. And we asked Chadwick Stein Commissioner to look at their audit and see if they could do anything different. And I put this quietly, we kind of got a runaround on that. They weren't interested in doing that. They kind of blew Dusty off on that. And so I did talk to Orville Peterson, giving them the chance to rethink that. And they said, well, we are so busy and we're losing so much staff that we really don't care if we keep your audit at all.
Wow.
we did put it out for an RFP. They were late getting it done last year,
They were right there on the,
right there on. the-
yeah, everything was just kinda last minute.
So we decided to go ahead and issue an RFP on that. They did come back after we issued the RFP and said, well, if the RFP doesn't work out, maybe we could do something. And I said, well, let's respond to the RFP. They did not respond to the
And
RFP.
her response
Really?
to the RFP was, it's already as low as I'm willing to go, we're gonna pass on this,
Okay,
so,
okay. And I
Kinda
understand that
conflicting.
they have lost a lot of their auditing staff. So that puts them probably they probably have more business than they have staff. So maybe that's part of that. So we did put that out for RFP, and I'll let you take it
Yep.
from there.
we got 2 responses, and I contacted them, I did contact, the other one in town, downtown.
Oh.
Yes,
we went-
I contacted them, sorry, I couldn't remember the name, and called them, and I emailed that over to them and never got a response, and I did get a response from, right here, from Soronin, Donley and Patterson. They responded, and then the other response I got was from Paul Miller. I apologize.
And I did talk to, I talked to Danny Bredenham at I-Bailey, and I asked him who they recommended, and they said for small audits in town, they usually recommend people to both of those auditors.
Right.
Either Dave Patterson or
Yeah,
Paul Miller.
and they were both very responsive. In fact, they'd asked it this morning if we had made a decision yet. So they're very on it, which I appreciated. So the Patterson proposal said that their estimated audit fees would be somewhere between $3,500 to $4,000, unless there's unexpected circumstances. They estimated it to be between 23 and 27 hours between Dave and his auditing partner Willie to complete it, and that they have done GJEPS, CASA's, CMU Foundation, and Habitat for Humanity, their audits as well, so if we needed recommendations, we could contact them. There was also a peer review letter that was written in support. Then the Paul Miller, his proposal came back. Sorry, let me get down here. Just all the different audits he's done for Clifton Fire Protection, Glenwood Water and Sanitation, Grand Valley Irrigation, Clifton Sanitation. Says services, these rates between $100 and $130 per hour. Paul will be working on the audit, and that he proposed that the first year of the audit would be about $5,000, the second year would be $5,100, and that the third year would be $5,200.
Any comments from anybody?
Well, as it shows, CASA, we used the first one before, they were always very good. And I think they charged about that to us, and was told by others that it could be up to $6,000 or $8,000, so we always felt like we were getting a good deal. However, I will say that what I like about Paul Miller is his experience with special districts. Because each little niche is different, whether you're a nonprofit, for-profit. So it's unfortunate that it's that much more. Yeah.
Craig, do you have any comments?
I'm not familiar with either one of them, so.
I've been on, so it's they're kind of the small audit guys in town, so I've been on 3 boards that they have both audited. When our time expired with one, we used the other, so I've been on the Grand Valley Transit, they did that, both of them did that. Both of them have done the foundation. I know Dave has done GGF, I don't know about Paul, but I've found them both to be very professional, timely, and the audits were done very well. So I think pretty Danny and someone else I talked to. So, I don't see the need to spend the extra. I think they're both capable of getting this audit done in a timely manner. Dave's pretty precise guy, and he will make sure that it's done right. That would be my thoughts on it.
I'm good with that.
We get any others, Dusty?
No, those were the only ones.
I wish we would've gotten more.
It's more than we got last time.
Yeah.
Chadwick Steinkircher was the only one that applied last time.
Really?
Yeah, Dusty went out a little farther this time and emailed some of the
Yeah.
auditors in town, so they got a response.
And I've never heard of these guys either in town, so
Mhm.
they never come up on a Google search. So
Oh, really?
I didn't, yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
Hear a motion to, do you guys wanna, does anybody have any reasons not to use Dave Patterson?
I don't have any reasons not to, so I'm saying yes.
Or any reason to use Paul over Dave? That's a better way to put that. Okay. Well, do we have a motion to accept, or to choose the Sorensen, Donnelly, Patterson?
So moved?
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
All right, all those, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you all. Let Dave know that and get things started,
Get
get
started.
that process going. When is our audit due?
July 31st.
Okay, so he'll probably wanna get a few things done right away. All right, financials, Christine, I'll turn it over to you.
So for our balance sheet, as of February 28th, we have $931,809.67 for the fund balance, $2,025,628.08 under the perm fund, $338,400 under the grants payable, and then a net income of $15,621.01. Profit and loss, we have legal fees of $503, contract services, $2,666, insurance expense of $2,601, dues and membership of $39.97. Realized gain in firm fund of $30,486.51, interest income of 13 cents, dividend income of $948.80. Accounts payable, $50,000 to the city of Fruta, $88,400 to CMU, $150,000 to the Grand Junction Police Department, and $50,000 to the Lower Valley Fire Protection District. The budget to actual, not much has changed. The only thing that we included is the $100,000 for the contribution to the firm fund, but the rest looks like it's still pretty much under the budget. So,
Thank you, Christine. Any questions for Christine? This is really for Christine. Dusty,
Yes, sir.
what are we waiting on from, we haven't dispersed the college or police department yet?
No, they have to submit their paperwork for reimbursement.
Okay, so we're still waiting on it. The police department one was put on hold for,
That was a 2-year one. That's what that one was. So they both have 2 years on that to get reimbursed for it.
okay, thank you. Any other? Or Dusty?
So,
Thank you. Do we hear a motion to accept the financials?
So moved.
We have a motion, and a second.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, guys. Thank you, Christine. Review of our investment accounts. Matt?
Yeah, current balance as of close today is $2,073,000. So, markets continue to go up. We're just shy of 2% year to date, 8.2% annualized since inception, and our equity allocation is about 62.5% right now, which is good where we want to be. So, I'll leave it at that unless there's questions. We can dive in.
It's always easy when it looks good, man.
As long as it's going
It's always easy when the market's working the right way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fair weather friends.
Nobody has any
Yeah.
questions.
I'll
when
be
it's-
at that meeting.
All right. That looks good now. Thank you. No, nobody has any questions? And we don't adopt that. We don't need to adopt that.
The Fed met today and announced
Oh,
that they
yeah.
hold interest rates where they are, and they don't see increasing until 2023, which sent the market up today. But it's interesting because there's starting to be a discrepancy where everybody's historically thought the Fed controls the interest rate, which most people in the know have known that isn't the case, but I feel like the market always felt that way. And now you're starting to see rates still creep up, even though the Fed is saying we're committed to keeping them low. And so it'll be interesting to see if the Fed, if that continues, if they actually implement some sort of bond buying program, which they committed to last year, and never actually executed. Because they didn't need to, rates came back down on their own. But if guys like me are saying, I'm not gonna invest in that 20-year bond for 2.5%, I want 4 or 5% now. If that starts to creep up, then maybe they'll do something.
I think they may do something similar to what they had planned.
I've never ceased to be amazed by government evolving to make people money. To keep people from losing money over their bad mistakes. I don't know how you want to say that.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we're going to start to rely on that, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Any other risks you see coming in the next 2 or 3 years?
you know, we index a lot, and so I think it's been the thing to do for sure for the last 15, maybe 20 years. But you know, in the tech sector, I'm not going to say those companies are way overvalued, but I think they're going to take a long time to realize that value. So, you know, if you see companies selling for 100 or 200 times their sales, right, which is where some of those are at right now, you know, they may be good companies that are going to be here for a long time, but if you buy it at that price, it's going to take a while to realize that value. So, you know, in I guess the value is probably the play right now, but that's where people are going. I guess it's just more value. I think if you start seeing inflation, things like Coca-Cola or McDonald's or General Mills, kind of basic consumer staples, utilities. I really think energy. These are things I don't like to bet a lot in portfolios on, so we don't take heavy tilts. But I really think energy, once people start flying and traveling again this summer, oil's already back at $63, $64 a barrel. Those companies are way cheaper than a lot of the tech stuff that's it's really expensive right now. So yeah, it kind of makes the case to start doing what we've discussed at times is beta replicating within a portfolio. So saying, okay, look, I don't want to follow, right now tech makes up 22% of the S&P 500, but that's a market cap weighting because they're so expensive, they're taking up a higher percentage. I think that should be a lot less. So in our portfolios where we're trying to control that, we're knocking them down to more like 12, 13%. And then making up for it where energy is only 2.5% of the S&P 500. To me, that's crazy. Those companies should be at least kind of 5, 6% in my view. So I think there's a lot of, tech stocks that are gonna change the way we live, but, some of them are gonna realize that way and some won't, and I don't wanna get caught up in the shotgun approach of buying them all right now, so. So I guess if there was one play, I'd say, value. Yeah.
We've definitely seen the tech stocks adjust before.
The other one is with interest rates, mortgage backs are really interesting because you've seen I think mortgage backs have this perceived level of safety. Sorry, I didn't want to take up.
No, I think
No,
it's
no, that's
fascinating.
okay.
It's good.
But, so a mortgage back duration looks like it's really short right now, and that's because people have been refinancing their mortgages every 2 or 3 years. So for the last probably 6 months, we've been trying to get out of anything mortgage back or treasury related. Because his rates just doesn't take much, but just a little bit up from the lows, and not nobody's gonna refinance anymore, because you missed the boat, or you did it. And so I think, mortgage backs, which look like have a duration of like 3 or 4 right now, wait till next year, and the duration will go to 5, and then 5 years from now it'll go to 10. Because those are really, more like 15 to 20-year duration securities. So we've done that in this portfolio, is taken steps within fixed income to get out of treasuries or reduce exposure to treasuries and mortgage backs. Mortgage backs are about 20% of the total bond market, and I think in our portfolio they're probably about 2.5% of the fixed income allocation. So we're way underweight mortgage backs, but I think that's a good move. And then we've replaced that some with tips, and then just keeping everything short duration on corporates. And then the total bond fund we use is a blend of corporates, high yield preferreds, tips, and some mortgage backs, but it doesn't have treasuries in it, which is nice. Because if you go total bond market, the US treasuries are 40% of that. So if you just buy like the Barclays Ag as the total bond market, you're gonna be 40% treasuries. And I think that's a riskier play going forward. So.
Well, unfortunately, Craig and I have been around long enough to see what happens to mortgage backs and tech stocks.
Yep.
Seen that before.
Same movie.
It does, and it's the way they say the 4 most dangerous words in finance are it's different this time.
And I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's different this time.
Different this time. Yep. Thank you, I'll remember that, folks. All right, any other questions from Matt? Anything else you want to add, Matt?
Nope, thanks for letting me talk.
Thanks for
Yeah.
your time. Okay. We will move on. Discussion of op-ed. I have to apologize, ladies, I was out of town and you were sending emails back and forth. I wasn't ignoring you, I got back and your emails were going to I just changed emails. You were in my junk email, I'm sorry. And I was getting this one-sided conversation from Dusty, and I was thinking,
Who's she talking to?
It's funny.
what's that about?
I didn't even realize you were still on it. I thought, it's funny. It's okay. I'm used to people
I
ignoring
didn't
me.
realize until I got back and cleaned out that
It's all right.
file. What is that about?
It's an overwhelming discussion. I could really use your input.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
All right. Go ahead. Do you want to talk about that, Dusty, or?
No, I mean, Janet and I had gone through and talked about some points to put in there, and it's a complicated issue. It's not cut and dried, like I would like it to be. So I'm not really quite sure how to steer it, where to go, how much information to put in there, what to take out, what to focus on. So I kind of have a rough draft with all word vomit that I figured we could.
Okay.
Well-written word comment, though.
It's, it was confusing to read. I don't like reading policy, but
And then I just
Interesting.
go back and forth. I think it was Rose that first suggested we might want to do something to show the impact of the governor's and the president's decisions and edicts on how it affects us locally and the fire departments and things like that, which made sense. The target audience then being the average voter, to which there's not much they can do about it either way. I mean, they could call the governor, they could, petition I just don't, so I'm kind of stuck at this.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
And what will be the value that comes out of us doing that? So I don't know.
You know,
Right.
and I think from, to avoid the mental, to avoid our entity from becoming too political, I think all we can do is talk about the benefits that come, the benefits of what we're doing with that money and what it does for the community.
Mhm.
And, unfortunately, if you say that this is all caused by politics, some of our decrease in our funds have been caused by politics, that's not necessarily true. A lot of it's the commodity pricing. But it will affect us down the road if it doesn't change. So I think a good positive op-ed about what the benefits that have come from the federal mineral leasing and the act, Federal Mineral Leasing Act. The states, municipality, government-only states and municipalities get 38% of the money. I can get you the numbers on that, Dusty.
Okay.
But part of the Federal Mineral Leasing Act designates 38% of that money goes to states and local municipalities.
Mhm.
The rest goes back to the Department of Interior and Government.
Yeah, I saw the percentage was like 50-40.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and so that's a good thing to talk about. Any changes to the Federal Mineral Leasing Act could impact that, how much money comes to us locally.
Right.
And we can talk about the money that comes to us as the district and to the state. Maybe talk about
I agree. I think it's good.
we get too far into the
Weeds,
regulatory environment and politics, we'll get ourselves down a rabbit hole.
right. Okay.
And if you, now that I'm back in tune with what is going on, if you'd like me to give some more input on that, I will. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to list all of them, and maybe we do, but Dusty and I were thinking that focusing on fire districts and schools, because everybody loves schools and the firemen and whatnot.
I think that's probably a really good idea.
Yeah, so 22 of the 66 grants, so 1/3 have gone to fire protection districts in Mesa County, all of our grants have ever given out.
And we could talk about a few things that we have funded that are currently on leased land. The Palisade Plunge goes through lands that are currently leased out, mineral wire. I mean, that is true. And that was, not only did we provide, although this doesn't fit into our game, but not only did we provide funding for that trail from lease money, it goes through land that's currently leased, and the company that has that land leased provided the Palisade Plunge people with their NEPA study and saved them about 2 years worth of time. And a lot of money. So that's one thing. And if you look out at a lot of, have we ever provided any money for some of the 18 road trails?
That's my knowledge.
A lot of that's on leased land.
But the fire department that services those injured bikers definitely got some money.
That's right. That's right. So, we look at a majority of the lands around Mesa County have, the federal minerals have been leased at one time or another and have not impacted surface use. So, something to look at.
How long has the district been around? Was it
2011.
11. So we're at 10-year anniversary. Maybe, and since we're not gonna take a political position, maybe we try and pitch it to the media. Maybe the Sentinel would do a story where you could include a few pictures of some of the things they funded and make it a little more interesting than just
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah,
I
I
think
like that one. That would be a way better,
I think that would be a really good
yeah,
direction.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me know, Dusty, I'll find some more.
Okay.
There for you.
Wealth of knowledge.
Sorry about that, I was
No, it's okay.
out of commission on that one.
Was it a fun trip?
Yeah, no. No. It was business related. All right. Anything else on that issue?
Yeah, just a question, I'm trying to, my memory is the worst in this room, I guarantee you, but I don't remember that we ever approved funding for part of the Palisade Plunge. I know that the city of Palisade had a grant request out there for the parking area at the end of it, but
Right.
we didn't fund that. That
No,
wasn't
yeah,
approved.
we never did, but DOLA, I believe DOLA did.
Oh,
DOLA did,
okay.
Okay.
yeah. I
I
thought that's
thought
what you were
there was some from
encompassing,
us,
like
but
the
that is
oil and
DOLA.
gas stuff, yeah.
That is DOLA money.
Yeah, I believe there was DOLA money that, because I think it came to the county, I think that wasn't it, John? Like that was part of it, like the county had to be the receiver of the money for Palisade Plunge because it was,
But it was from DOLA.
yeah,
Right.
so.
Okay,
I was
my
gonna
apologies.
go get John's plaque back.
Yeah,
Worked around
Yeah.
us and got that.
yes, sir.
Reimbursement.
I was thinking that's where you were going with that, because I knew we'd never funded it, but I
Okay,
was thinking you were
apologize.
thinking
I-
like
coming
COGA
on
DOLA
before my time.
stuff, yeah.
We're instrumental.
But it was just the parking lot down there where
It,
it
it
ended.
was the parking lot where it ended and the lower trail, because they
Right.
wanted the lower trail because they said they could,
Last segment. of
right,
it,
they
yeah.
could ride that without the rest of it
At
being.
lunchtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm,
Okay, but it still came from federal, then release money.
mhm.
Okay. Okay. No, I think that's a great idea, so
Okay.
head down that direction. Any other discussion on that? Okay, do we have any unscheduled business? Hearing none, we have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
All right, meeting adjourned at
Thank you.
3:46.